Shake the dust off of my feet. The noise turns down. I hear you speak. It's a different kind of peace. It's a deep calling to deep. Sit down across from you. Commune just like we do. With my eyes locked on the key. It is well, my soul it sees. It's a simple kind of free. When I'm with you and you're with me. So let your love come take the lead. I give up controlling things. When I'm with you, I can believe. You're my source, my shield, the strength that carries me. With my eyes locked on.
Well, hello, everybody. That caught me off guard, Damien. For those of you have no idea what's going on, there's like 3 seconds left, and Pastor
Right.
Brian and I are just like chatting.
Having a big conversation about things that we could discuss for Pastor Talk.
Yes. So anyway, let's get into it. So do we want to talk about some of the sermon series, or do we want to go into some upcoming things?
Yeah, well, let's talk a little about the sermon. We were talking before we came on the air about, what does it mean to have an enjoy life when all these things are pushing up against us, or, we're kind of feeling battered. You're talking this week about the nature of suffering, and
Yeah.
where is our joy in the midst of the things that cause us to suffer? So, and then I'm going to be in the next week looking at trauma, but you preached last week too, talking about some fairly challenging topics.
Well, I think honestly, the sermon was about difficult relationships, and I think maybe people's minds went to arguments you're having inside your family. How do you get along with your children?
Right.
I mean, all of those are super relevant, but I kind of went to a more high level. What is our attitude when people are coming at us, and how do people respond when when you feel someone is your enemy, or is not for you, or is talking about you, or spreading vicious rumors about you, or who has done horrible things to you? How are we supposed to respond to that? Shouldn't we be retaliating?
Right.
But Jesus gives this whole talk about, no, we're supposed to actually love our enemies, and we're supposed to pray for those who use us and abuse us and who reject us.
Right. Well, I think there's an element. Of course, I didn't preach, but there's an element of power within our life of faith that the world can't comprehend. That the most powerful person I can be in a moment is the one that does not retaliate. That sees a bigger vision of who we're called to be than just somebody that can get even or get over.
Yeah.
That sometimes. There's a bigger thing that God's doing with our enemies that we would choose not to participate in. But
we're responsible for our own behavior. We can't control the behavior of others. And even to the point of, I was talking to my son about it, and we were talking about how when someone is yelling at you or like being unreasonable, even let's say within a family unit, it's really hard to pause. Like for me, I'm speaking for myself. I want to be like defensive and it's not healthy. to be in that space,
Right.
emotionally healthy. And we don't have to be like that. We can be, I'm not saying to be just this rug on the floor where people take,
Right.
walk all over you. That's not the point. As a matter of fact, it's not. It's more, like you said, it's power, because then you really are the one going, no, I'm not going to respond in that way.
Right. Well, and I think you're dealing with some of the blessed sayings.
Yes.
And you and I were even having that conversation. What's the definition of meekness when someone's coming at me as combative? And meekness from a biblical perspective is really someone who's incredibly powerful, has a weapon in their sheath, but chooses not to wield it, but knows exactly how much power they have. And
That's
I think
right.
that's
right.
That's the real source of strength. That does Jesus provide us with power?
That's right.
To be powerful when everything looks like we are just getting obliterated.
This is a weird example, but if you've ever been in, like, let's say a business meeting or whatever kind of meeting a person might be in, and there's the individual who's in the meeting who's quiet the whole time and really not saying anything, and everybody else is like yelling, and then this person just, like, after not doesn't yell above anybody else and just quietly says one thing, and then everybody's like turns and looks at that person like, whoa, that was wise.
Yeah.
That was wisdom. And
That's true north. Yeah.
yeah. And so, but then everything changes because they realize that like all the arguing and all the nastiness and all the anger got them nowhere. And then this person says something that moved them forward. That's kind of, in a weird way, what it reminds me of.
Well, I think there is, when this whole series on joy, there is this presence of God within the life of a believer that God says, and you alluded, I hope folks will go back and watch the sermon that you did on difficult relationships, because you really alluded several times to this inner sense of who we are in Christ that enables us to deal with difficult things and difficult people. And I try to always, one of the things that came clear to me as I was listening to you preach, and I have the luxury, I get to hear the sermon usually 4 times. So
it depends. It may not be a luxury, right?
Well, but to remind myself that I may be in relationships where people are looking at me going, he is the difficult person in my life. And I would never picture myself that way.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they don't picture me
That's right.
that way. And so, it's not like I'm a non-participant in any difficult relationships. So
That's a great point.
That kept washing over me is where can I live this joyous kind of life that I'm not the difficult part of a relationship?
Well, it's so funny because Shauna, Damien, they both know me very well. And there are certain situations that I get myself in where I know this is shocking, but if something as I'm out and about is not really going the way I think it should go, I can get frustrated and I can get a little condescending in my tone. And Shauna will every once in a while say, "Mom, really?" And because of this sermon, I know this sounds minor, but it's not minor. It's really not minor out in the world, and when things aren't going our way, that's really where we have to look at ourselves in the mirror. And it could be that the person across the counter from us, what an impact it would be if I was different. And even if there's not an impact, how about we just live the way Jesus wants? I mean, that's what I was thinking about myself the whole time.
Well, I do hope that people recognize that when you and I are writing, preparing, and delivering messages, that they're impacting us. We don't preach as finished products.
No, they're definitely
these things are washing over us just as experientially as they are the folks that are hearing the messages. We hear them first. I mean, that's my prayer every week.
Yes.
That I hear well from God so that I can share well from God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to preach a sermon where that's not happening, to be honest with you, because I also like to be sitting in the congregation, like you said, and hearing so that some people don't like to hear teachings that challenge. But I always want to hear teachings that challenge, always, because I think that's the way life is. And I should always be looking to Christ and saying, where do I need to modify my behavior and walk more in the Spirit and follow you and surrender myself to you more and more and more? That should be my goal the rest of my life until I die.
Well, it's interesting because just to be transparent with folks, this whole message series about joy came about because I said, hey, we've just come out of a couple of really serious series. I think we ought to do something where we show a whole bunch of YouTube videos and tell jokes. And Estelle was part of the conversation. Yes. Estelle's John Pierre, who's our traditional choir director and just amazing. And he said, no, keep pressing on. So we started going deeper and going, okay, where's joy in the midst of the really tough stuff? So that's how we landed on not doing a bunch of YouTube videos.
Exactly. And just having like a party because we wanted to. And, this week I wanted to read something, speaking of that, I don't think we can find it. And so this week is going to be about suffering. And, we can say, well, we don't want to talk about suffering. But the truth of the matter is many people are suffering in different ways. They can be suffering. There's all different types of suffering. And I want to read this in 1 Peter chapter 4. It says, "Dear friends, do not be surprised at the fiery ordeal that has come on you to test you, as though something strange were happening to you, but rejoice inasmuch as you participate in the sufferings of Christ, so that you may be overjoyed when his glory is revealed." And so to me, that's kind of twofold. The glory will be revealed at a later date. We will be in glory with him, but there's also the glory of today. And Romans chapter 8 talks about it. Like, if we're going to share in his glory, we must share in his suffering. And so I want to give a word of encouragement on Sunday about suffering is not easy, but there is something good that happens as a result of it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, the nature of Christian community and faith community, here we are. Just a couple of weeks ago, our historic sanctuary was opened up for 2 synagogues so that they could celebrate their high holy days. And now we've got all of this violence and bloodshed going on in the Middle East. And 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't have known some people that were as deeply impacted as I do now, because we're part of a faith community where suffering is going on. It's going on in our pews. It's going on in our community. And so, any messages that we give have to come in the midst of, there's joy in this. Where's that?
That's right.
How do we, because that's deeper than I'm feeling. So it's got to be something deeper than feeling. But 1 Peter, that's, wow.
There's a lot when you research, and we will be talking about what Jesus says about it too. But when you research the scriptures, there's a lot of scriptures on suffering and trials. So this will be another.
It's always been a tough world.
It always has been, and it will continue to be. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So we probably need to look at calendar, because I think I said Sunday in worship, it's kind of a sprint from here to the end of the year with all the different things. It
doesn't look like I'm sprinting ever, but, in my mind, I am sprinting for sure. Yeah, we're sprinting. We've got all kinds of stuff going on. We do have the Halloween. We don't want to call it Halloween, right?
No,
we don't really the trunk or treat. We don't celebrate Halloween, but we do acknowledge that it's a good time to minister to families, and so trunk or treat, that is on the 25th, correct?
Yeah, it's Wednesday night from 6 to 8, and Jessica Van Heusen and the Kaylee and all of them always put together such a great. We'll probably have 1,000. Kids out there.
I'd say easily. If it's decent weather, it'll be more.
Yeah, well, they've got bounce houses and all sorts of things. So the way we can, the help we need is for folks to sign up to do trunks. And
Yes.
you need to come out because we're going to win this year. Dustin has informed me that the back of my truck will be the winning.
Dustin is so good at that.
Yeah.
She really is
Very
good.
competitive. So,
I'm really bad
but
at
we need cars to sign up for trunks. We can provide the candy and the trinkets, but it would help us if you all could make donations of wrapped candy and small giveaway items. So.
And I think people are already starting to bring those in.
Yes.
But yeah, if you think about it, if there's 1,000 families or children on the property, we need a lot of candy.
A lot of candy.
And keep in mind too, and most people do, bring some candy for little children. So like little suckers and stuff there, whatever that little children can have, and then older ones too. So yeah, lollipops.
All of a sudden with your big focus on little children, which is, can't imagine.
I don't know.
Where does that come from?
I don't know. I never thought like that before.
So we've got some big things ahead too. We've got a Christmas. We've got homecoming coming up the first week of November. We have a Saturday night service like we always do, but Sunday morning, that first Sunday in November, just one 10 o'clock service where we celebrate. We are in such an interesting place as a church because we're brand new. We just voted to step away from the United Methodist Church, and we're 150 years old at the same time.
We're new and old. Yes,
So homecoming will be celebrating that. Talk a little bit about Asel and the music offering. It's into December, but the rehearsals are happening now.
Well, so he has organized a group of people of an orchestra, and he's going to bring them in, and then he's getting some musicians, but he's also anybody here who wants to sing, we just need to let him know. So he's already starting with rehearsals for that. And I love Christmas presentations. I really, really do. It's super fun. And it gives people an opportunity to go, you know what, that we are Christian and we celebrate the birth of Jesus. And it's I don't remember this. Is it going to be on a Sunday afternoon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
5 p.m. on December 17th, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We'll have more details. We've got a children's program, a children's play for Advent. Also, Kaylee Mendelssohn's going to be offering that with our children's ministry. So, yeah, there's just a lot.
We better come up with a really good sermon series. Like the last 2 years have been really good. And a staff video. I better, Damien, that'll come out I'll tell you what it is a week before Christmas. So you can, you can help us with that. Oh, it's that season. Oh, and then, of course, after Christmas, there'll be another Harrington born. So,
Yes.
that's on the Christmas sprint through the end of the year thing for Damien, at least, and Shauna. So is that it? I mean, I know there's stuff. We still have our Bible studies going on. Yeah, I've
got my group, Dustin's women's studies, still on Wednesday nights and Friday mornings. And I'll be doing mine tonight.
Yeah. Lots happening. So I just want to thank all of you guys for your ongoing love of the Word of God, and your participation in things and Jesus, and just keep on coming. And we'll see you tonight and this weekend. So have a good day.
As I walk through the fire, let it purify me. I know you're with me there. Though fear and doubt may find me, God, you hold the victory. And I know you're with me there. I walk proudly through the valley of the shadow of death, you said, even in the silence. Jesus, you're working, and I believe it still. I believe it still. So let